We're going to try to do this all in one take. What's going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back in to another video. Today, we're going to be doing our 53-man roster for the New York Giants. Just the predictions, as the cut downs, I think, are due tomorrow. And I have to quickly make this video because I have a flag football game to go to, and it's right after, I just came out of work, so I'm going to try to get this out. And no editing today, so if you guys want to follow along with me, go ahead and check the description below. In there is going to be the whole list of my 53-man roster prediction, and also is the sponsor for the video, and that is manscaped.com. Make sure you guys use the promo code KB27 for manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping for all your men's below the waist grooming needs. Make sure you guys use promo code KB27 for 20% off plus free shipping. That's manscaped.com. Listen, guys, your balls will thank you. So, that being said, let's get on to the video. 53-man roster. Let's start off with the offense. We're keeping 25 on offense, 25 on defense, and then, of course, our 3 special teams positions. So, let's talk about the quarterbacks. First up, we've got, Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Davis Webb. Those guys are going to make the roster. I definitely see the Giants keeping 3 quarterbacks on this list, so there's that. Running backs. We're 4 running backs for us: Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, Antonio Williams, and Gary Brightwell. I know Jashaun Corbin has become a fan favorite. He is an undrafted free agent rookie, and I just think Gary Brightwell would get the nod over him there. On top of that, Gary Brightwell adds sort of a, versatility that we don't have on this running back position. That is more of being like a power back, more of a third down back type of guy. So I definitely see, Brightwell being useful in this offense. I know Jashaun Corbin is more of that pass catching back. Maybe Daboll likes that more, but I think Gary Brightwell makes the roster for that. And on top of that, he's also a special teams guy. He performed well on special teams last year. I imagine him to play special teams this year as well. Let's move on to the wide receivers. 6 wide receivers on this list. I know a lot of people are talking about Darius Slayton. As the days goes on, as the hours pass by, I get less and less confident that Darius Slayton makes this roster. He may make the initial roster, but I just don't see him making the initial, like the day one roster. Like I said, I'm just not confident in it. And now we're seeing rumors about Kenny Golladay. That's just not going to happen. Just his dead cap is ridiculous. Unless we get a team that actually pays dead cap, which I think is freaking impossible. Kenny Golladay is going to be a Giant this season. So let's just see what happens with Kenny Golladay. But 6 wide receivers on the roster: Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Wandale Robinson, David Sills, and Richie James. So those are the 6 wide receivers I have the Giants keeping. Richie James is going to be that returner guy and, special teamers. And then David Sills is going to add, we have a lot of slot guys on here, right? David Sills is going to add a little bit more of an outside presence that we need just in case something happened, Kenny Golladay, what have you. So there's that. Tight ends: Daniel Bellinger, Chris Myarick, and Tanner Hudson. Those are my 3 tight ends I have the Giants keeping at least on the initial roster. If there's 3 positions, the 3 positions that the Giants are going to attack, not need to attack, they're going to attack it. There's no way they're not. But the 3 positions the Giants are going to attack in, after roster cuts, when all the teams cut their rosters down to size, and there are free agents roaming around. The Giants are definitely going to attack tight end, offensive tackle, and cornerback. These 3 positions we need so desperately on this team right now. We have no depth in there at all. So, Daniel Bellinger, I think, is obviously safe. Chris Myarick and Tanner Hudson are not safe. Now, Chris Myarick may be more safe than Tanner Hudson, obviously, but I can definitely see the Giants bringing in like 2 tight ends that they just cut Chris Myarick and Tanner. I just don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. So we'll see what happens there. But the Giants are going to keep 3 tight ends on here. So if we were like a power running team, and we do a lot of running, maybe we keep 4 running backs like, in years prior. 4 tight ends like in years prior, but not this year. Let's go on to offensive line. I have the Giants keeping 9 offensive linemen on here. So let's start off with the starters: Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, Shane Lemieux, Jon Feliciano, Mark Lewinsky. And then you've got Josh Ezeudu, Devery Hamilton, Jamil Douglas, and Ben Bredeson. So those are the guys I have the Giants keeping on the offensive lineman. Listen, a guy like Ben Bredeson, Jamil Douglas, these guys may not even be on the roster day one. Like I said, this is another position I feel like the Giants are going to attack. We need tackles on here. We have no depth tackles in here at all. You can argue Josh Ezeudu and Devery Hamilton are swing tackles, but they're not. They're interior offensive linemen who can be versatile and play outside, play the tackle position for a bit, right? In just spelling the tackles. So we need swing tackles. We need tackles. So the Giants are definitely going to attack that, and they're definitely going to let go of the lesser interior offensive linemen like Ben Bredeson or Jamil Douglas. I just don't see the Giants keeping like Will Holden or Garrett McGinn on here. They're just not going to do it. So, and I think Garrett McGinn got waived anyway. So there's that. Let's move on to the let me make sure I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we got 9 offensive linemen. Anyway, that's 25 offensive players. Let's move on to the defense. We've also got 25, so a split even. We kept 5 defensive linemen: Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, DJ Davidson, Nick Williams, and Jalyn Holmes. Now, Jalyn Holmes, I think, gets the edge over Justin Ellis. I know Justin Ellis is kind of more familiar with the scheme and familiar with Wink Martindale from his time in Baltimore, but I feel like Jalyn Holmes has been getting more opportunities to be on the field and has been making more plays, and I just notice him a lot more in the preseason and practices than Justin Ellis. So I feel like Jalyn Holmes will make the cut. Nick Williams kind of solidified himself as that third option at 3-4 defensive end. So there's that. And then DJ Davidson is going to make this roster. I know I've seen a lot of people not have him make the roster. He was drafted. If the Giants keep any young player on here, they got to keep their draft picks. They drafted him for a reason. This is a rebuilding year. Their first year in the rebuild. They're going to keep their draft picks. So otherwise they would have traded it away. So, oh man. I'm sorry guys. I'm a little bit tired. And I'm not editing this, so we're going to go straight through. So, edge rushers. I have the Giants keeping 6 edge rushers in here. I know that may seem like a lot. I know, but there's just we haven't seen enough from a lot of these guys that I want to give another year to, and it's really not much of a risk of anything. So, I have 6 edge rushers, and I have the Giants keeping Kayvon Thibodeaux, Azeez Ojulari, Jihad Ward, Quincy Roche, Oshane Ximines, and Elerson Smith. Now, Elerson Smith barely makes the cut, but I want to see more from him. I want to give him another year. He had a injury-plagued rookie season. There's still a lot still a lot of development to go in Elerson Smith, and I don't want to be, that team that just lets go of potential. And I'm not saying he has a potential of being, just some star-studded talent. We drafted him last year. I want to see what we can do with him. So, I have Elerson Smith barely making the roster. I can very well see him being cut. Quincy Roche, we haven't seen too much of him either. Last year, he looked promising. This year, he was buried on the depth chart. I want to see why that is. I want to see more from Quincy Roche. So there's that. Jihad Ward, I have making the roster just as being a veteran presence on there because this edge rushing group is extremely, extremely young. I mean, the highest seniority edge rusher would be like Oshane Ximines, like the longest tenured player would be Oshane Ximines, and that's freaking insane because he's still on his rookie contract. So we got to keep Jihad Ward on here just as a veteran presence, and maybe he may provide something. So let's move on to inside linebackers. I have the Giants keeping 5 inside linebackers, and it goes as such: Blake Martinez, Tae Crowder, Micah McFadden, my guy Micah McFadden, Cam Brown, and Austin Calitro. Okay, this came out of left field, man, but Austin Calitro has been having a good preseason. He's been making the biggest plays in the preseason. He had that fumble recovery, in week 1. I believe it was a fumble recovery. He also had a pick 6 did he have a fumble recovery in week 1, or was it another interception? I cannot remember. But Austin Calitro was making plays. He had a pick 6 in this past game on Joe Flacco, and it wasn't just some random, I was at the right place at the right time, pick 6. He read the play. He rolled with the quarterback, stood in front of the intended receiver, and made the play and got into the end zone. So great on him. He's a veteran. I give him the nod over Carter Coughlin. Carter Coughlin is, I like Carter Coughlin. I do. I really do. But we already have that special teams linebacker in Cam Brown. We don't need two special teams linebackers. We already have positions dedicated to like special teams guys, right? We're keeping Gary Brightwell for that pure fact. We're keeping 10 offensive linemen. I mean, you look at the edge. We have a lot of edge rushers as well. Elerson Smith could play special teams, and you know how it goes. We don't need that much on our special teams. And Austin Calitro, who says Austin Calitro can't play special teams? So there's that. I'd rather keep Austin Calitro than Carter Coughlin at this point. I know Carter Coughlin is younger. I know he has a little bit more potential than maybe Austin Calitro does, but Calitro just deserves it. Okay, he had a really good preseason, and he just deserves it. So there's that. Let's move on to the cornerbacks. I have the Giants keeping 5 for now. Okay, I don't see this staying that way. But 5 for now, I think the Giants are going to wind up keeping 6. But I feel like they're going to, like I said, this is the third position I feel like the Giants are going to address when roster cuts happen and they go to their week 1 rosters. The initial 53 might have 5, might have 6, but I have them keeping 5 right now. They released Darren Evans earlier, I believe. By the way, those 7 players that the Giants waived, I didn't have on my initial 53 anyway, so this works out perfectly. So Adoree Jackson, Aaron Robinson, Darnay Holmes, Cordale Flott, and Harrison Hand. I really want Rodarius Williams to get healthy soon because I feel like the Giants will bring him back. But they're probably going to, send him to the IR because he has not practiced since like the 4th day of training camp. So I don't envision him staying, making it back anytime soon. We'll see what happens. But hopefully he can come back healthy because I actually like Rodarius Williams, and we could use some depth at that outside cornerback position because we really don't have any. I mean, I think Harrison Hand's going to make this roster just by default. I don't like any of the other quarterbacks. Maybe Zion Gilbert is a guy they bring in. I'm not a huge fan of him, but hey, he's an undrafted free agent rookie. You may get him to develop, and he may be a good depth piece. But we'll see what happens. Harrison Hand is a kind of a veteran. He is a veteran, so he's been in the league a couple of years with Minnesota. He's a 5th-round pick. So we'll see what happens with that. For the safeties, I have the Giants keeping 4 safeties on the list. I know a lot of people have them keeping 5. You can go 5 if you want to. I kind of added that extra roster spot and gave it to the edge rushing group, but you can take one away and give it to the safeties if you want to, just because the Wake Martindale loves to use 3 safety sets, so it's good to have 2 backup safeties behind them. So you can have it either way if you want 5 safeties on here. I have the Giants keeping 4. I have no problem keeping 5. Xavier McKinney, Nate Metters for the free safety position, and then strong safety, Julian Love and Dane Belton. I am very upset that the Giants did not keep Andrew Adams on the roster. If they really felt like... See, what I thought was they like the young guys. They like Yusuf Corker. They like Trenton Thompson. They were making plays in the preseason, but they just waived the Yusuf Corker, and we're still waiting to see what happens with Trenton Thompson. Why would you release Andrew Adams, who was probably the best safety on the roster besides Xavier McKinney? I think he's probably better than Julian Love. Why would you cut Andrew Adams for the sake of Trenton Thompson and Yusuf Corker? Like, I don't understand that at all. These guys are undrafted free agent rookies. You can put them on the practice squad, okay? They're eligible to be on the practice squad. Give them a year to develop. Why did we release Andrew Adams? There has to be something we don't know. There has to be something that must have happened because it definitely wasn't Andrew Adams' production while he was here with the Giants because he was making plays in the practice almost immediately, and then when he played in the preseason, in his first preseason game, he was playing well. So I'm appalled by that. Andrew Adams is one of my favorite undrafted free agents the Giants have brought in here in the past couple years, coming out of UConn. I loved Andrew Adams in 2016. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he deserved to stay on this roster, before Dave Gettleman let him go. And I was very happy we brought him back. But it's sad to say that we only kept him for a couple of days. But that to me is one of Joe Shane's top 5 worst moves so far in his tenure. Okay, it's one of his top 5 worst moves so far. So it may be his only worst move so far. So we'll see what happens. And then obviously our 3 guys, Graham Gano, Jamie Gillen, and Casey Crater. But yeah, guys, that is my 53-man roster. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. This was a little longer than I intended it to be. I'm sorry if I bored you guys. If I did, if you guys kept up in the description and looked at the list, thank you. And if you guys made it this far, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time it will be whenever I get out of work to discuss the 53-man roster. So that being said, I'm KB, and I'll see you guys in the next video.